Hey guys, it's Stephanie with Yarnball Handmade Goods. Happy Thursday. In today's video, I really wanted to make something for the beginner crocheter, or something that just anybody can make that's super easy, super simple, but really adorable. I know when I first started crocheting, it was really intimidating. I really didn't know where to start, what project I should make. So what easier than to start with by making an adorable set of coasters. Coasters are the perfect project for the beginner crocheter because they're a fun little decorative piece for spooky season, or really any holiday or season, that you can put on your nightstand, throw on your coffee table, put in your kitchen or your desk. So I figured starting out with a nice set of Halloween coasters was what I would recommend for the beginner crocheter. Coasters are also good too because it's a good way to really practice your tension. It's a good way to get comfortable holding the crochet hook, practicing your stitches, counting your stitches. So let me go ahead and show you the set we're going to be making today. Okay guys, so let's get started with this tutorial for these awesome, spooky, creepy Halloween coasters. This is a really great project for the beginner crocheter. It only takes one stitch. I'm gonna show you how to do the black and orange one. So you will need a skein of black yarn and a skein of orange yarn. You'll also need a crochet hook. I'm using a 6mm. You'll need a yarn needle, and you will also need a pair of scissors. What we're going to do to start this coaster is you're going to take a strand of the black yarn and a strand of the orange, and I usually just like to line them up as best as I can so that they're right next to each other. Let me lower this a little. Okay, so you're just going to be working with 2 strands of yarn. We're going to start with a slip knot. The way that I make a slip knot is I go over 2 times. These first 2 pieces I pull over, the second pieces pull over that, and then these back 2 pieces I pull up. And there's your slip knot. There's lots of different ways to make a slip knot, that's just mine. So we're going to start with a chain 11. So we're going to yarn over, pull through, there's 1 chain, yarn over, pull through, there's a second chain. We're going to do that 11 times. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So now we're going to be doing the same stitch the entire time. So it's super simple and it works up really quick. You can make this in less than 20 minutes. So we're going to skip this first chain from the hook. So you can see right here is the first chain from the hook. We're going to skip that one and go into this second chain. So you're going to insert your hook into the second chain, yarn over, pull through once. You'll have 2 loops on your hook, and then yarn over, pull through a second time. And that's a single crochet. So we're going to continue single crocheting until we get to the very last stitch of the row. So we're going to insert our hook, yarn over, pull through. You have 2 loops, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. Working with 2 strands of yarn at the same time can be a little bit challenging because you have to make sure you always have both pieces on your hook and it doesn't accidentally slip out. But just pretend it's 1 piece of yarn. That's what I try to do. Just psych myself out. So we are at the last stitch. We're doing our last single crochet. So that's our first row. So now we're going to chain 1, turn our work, and from here on out it's going to be the same thing the whole time. We're just going to single crochet into the top of each stitch all the way to the end of the row, chain 1, then do the same thing, and we want 10 rows. We want this to be a perfect square, so we have 10 stitches across, and then we're going to do 10 rows up. So we are going right into this first stitch, so it's going to be the very first stitch from the hook, and then we will yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both loops. And then we're going to do that all the way down. So insert our hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. And something as a beginner crocheter, I would say that's really important is to practice tension. You really want to pay attention to how tight you're pulling your yarn and how tight or loose your stitches are. If your yarn is really loose and you're just kind of going like that with it, see how much bigger this looks compared to the rest of the stitches? Or it could be the opposite, where you're yarning over way too tight, the stitch will be way too small. So you just have to be really mindful of that. You don't want it to be too tight, you don't want it to be too loose, but that takes practice to kind of find that sweet spot. That's why this is a really good beginner crochet project, and also a really cute decoration to have, because 1, it just looks adorable, and 2, it's the same stitch over and over again, so it's a really good chance to practice your tension. Okay, we're at the end of the row again, so we're going to chain 1, turn our work, go right into this first stitch from the hook right here, and do our single crochets all the way to the end. Looks like we have about 4 rows done, and we need to get to 10. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I will be right back when we get to close to the end of the 10th row. We're coming up on our last single crochet right here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So now the coaster is complete. We have a perfect square and all 10 rows are done. You can, if you'd like, at this point, you can stop here and you can just have your coaster be like this, just a regular square. It looks super cute still for Halloween. The set that I'm making, it's black and white, black and purple, black and green, and black and orange. So that's the set that you'll make. And you can stop here, like I said, but what I like to do is actually step it up a notch, and I think you should too. It's fun to challenge yourself a little bit. If you've never added fringe before to a project, that's what we're going to be doing. And the best part about that is you don't have to weave in any ends. If you are going to stop here and you're not going to add fringe, then you would fasten off like I am right now. Weave your ends in on the back, and then you'll be done, and it'll basically be like that. But I think it'd be fun and festive to add some really cute fringe. So I'm going to show you how we add fringe to the coaster. I did finish the black and green and the black and white, and here's what they wind up looking like. How stinking cute are those? For Halloween, like, that's a cute little coaster. I still have to add the fringe to the black and purple, and then the set will be complete. So let's go ahead and add some fringe to this. So the way that I like to do my fringe, it's pretty easy. So we're going to take the 2 pieces of yarn, just line the ends up so that the 2 ends meet. And you really only need maybe about a foot. I usually do about a foot. I'd rather have too much than not enough. So I'd say maybe about a foot of yarn is what you need for the fringe. So you can go ahead and just snip that. And then you'll take it and just fold it in half and make a little bit of a loop. And then this is where you're going to need your yarn needle. So you'll feed the 2 pieces through the top of the yarn needle. Pull those through. You'll have this loop coming through your yarn needle. And then we're going to take our coaster. So you have 10 stitches across the top and then 10 stitches across the bottom, and then there's also 10 rows. So basically each side of the square needs 10 of these attached to it. So each stitch gets fringe. So altogether there will be 40. So just kind of push these tails out of the way. They can stay there. And we're gonna go right into the first stitch. You're gonna wanna just pull the loop up and then hold the loop open like that. And then you pull these 4 pieces on the other side. You'll just pull them through the loop and pull. And that's your first piece of fringe. So we'll go ahead and do that in all 10 stitches all the way across. So we'll pull about a foot of yarn, snip that off, fold it in the middle, take the loop at the top, put that right through your yarn needle and feed it through until you have a little loop sticking out from your yarn needle. And then we're going to go right into the second stitch through here. You're going to pull the loop through, take your yarn needle off, and then you'll have this loop in here, and then you want to take the other end and just pull those through and it attaches. And there's that. So I will meet you back here when I'm done adding the fringe to all the other sides. Okay, so we just finished up all the fringe. It looks insane right now, but that's okay. This is what it is gonna look like when it's done. So now all that's left to do is just trim the fringe, and really you can kind of customize this part however you'd like. If you want the fringe a little longer, you can make it longer. If you want it really short, you can make it really short. Just find anything with a straight edge to cut along. I use this little, it's like a scissors holder thing. So what I usually do to cut my fringe is I separate it by the 4 squares, and I just try to kind of brush it out as straight and evenly as I can so we get a nice even cut. And then I take my little measuring guide, place it on the edge of the coaster, and then we're just going to go ahead and cut. So I'm gonna go ahead and just do that on the other 3 sides. Okay, so there is our finished Halloween coaster. Looking super cute. I love the fringe. I'm gonna go ahead and show you what all of them look like together. Let me grab the rest of them. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope that you liked this tutorial for these spooky, creepy Halloween coasters. And if you try to make these, let me know. I would love to see your version of them. Don't be intimidated when you just start crocheting. Just have fun with it. Keep practicing. You'll get to where you want to be. And eventually you'll be making tutorials on how to make coasters. Thank you again so much for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe, comment on this video, and I will see you next time. Bye!